Hey guys, I'm Felix, and in this video I'd like to discuss tones. It sounds quite boring, but I'd like to focus on a few words that are very similar sounding but not similar in meaning. So you need to sort of pay attention here and make sure you sharpen your tone when it comes to these specific words. For instance, here we have the word fan chang, and that would mean unusual. But if you say fan chang, that would mean a cover song. So these two words, to a native speaker now, might sound completely different, but to a fellow learner like ourselves, well, they might just sound very similar. So here we go. Here are a few words you should pay a bit more attention to. First of all, if you care to make a difference between your husband and your worker or your laborer, then you might want to know about this one. So it's 老公, and that would be a third tone and then followed by a first tone, 老公. That is a husband. If you now say 老公 as in a second tone and then followed with a first tone again, 老公, then that would be a laborer or a worker, because the word 老 means labor or work. Actually, the gong is not even the same character, but they sound exactly the same either way. So here you have 老公 and you have 老公. Just watch out for that one. They sound very similar indeed. On this third tone, you can tell that I'm a bit more aggressive, I think. I go down and I go up. 老公, 老公, whereas 老公sounds a bit different, no? This is particularly difficult though, because if you've taken my pronunciation course, I'll focus a lot on the second and on the third tone, because beginners or new learners to Chinese, especially Westerners, they tend to get these two mixed up quite a lot. And it also plays on the dynamics between the husband and the worker. And I've actually heard a lot of married couples throwing around with some banter and confusing the words 老公 and 老公 a lot. Now moving on to word number 2, we have research versus alcohol or tobacco. Now you definitely want to make sure that you know which one you're talking about here. So you make sure you're not smoking research and working with tobacco or alcohol. If you had to be addicted to one, I'd say, well, addicted to your work or research instead of alcohol. So please make sure that you make this distinction clearly. First of all, we have research, and that would be 研究, 研究, 研究. Okay, and then we have alcohol or tobacco as well. Tobacco is 烟 and alcohol is 酒. 烟酒, 烟酒. And that would be alcohol and tobacco. You can see that on signs on the front of stores where they sell tobacco and alcohol together, because they usually combine and put them in a store and they sell them together. Now, if you want to do research about alcohol or tobacco stores, you would 研究 some 烟酒店 or stores. Now the next one here, obviously two words, but actually one of them you already know already. It's Shanghai, and that is, well, the city of Shanghai. Now make sure you actually know what the characters mean here, because Shang means on top of something and Hai actually means ocean or sea. So Shanghai is just the city that is on top of the sea. Fantastic. Shanghai. Okay, now the second word is quite funny as well, because it means to hurt someone. So if you want to go to Shanghai, you want to make sure that you're not hurting someone by going there. I guess that makes sense somehow. Now that would be Shanghai, Shanghai, Shanghai. So it's a first tone, the flat one, and then it goes down to a fourth. So Shanghai, Shanghai. So if you want to say, I'm going to Shanghai to hurt someone, you could say, 我去上海, 伤害别人. Wonderful. Make sure you don't get those two mixed up. Have you ever seen a panda with chest hair before? I hope you haven't. I truly hope you haven't, because in that case you might have had to say 熊猫, which is panda, mixed with 胸毛, which means chest hair. So in that case you would say a panda that has chest hair would be 这一只熊猫有胸毛. Quite confusing indeed, no? Just pay attention to that pronunciation as well. So it's a bit extra confusing here because we have the same tones, the same two tones, but they flip positions in each case. So for panda it would be 熊猫. You might remember that easier by remembering the word for cat, which is 猫, the character we're using here. If you can recall that that is a first tone, then the other one has to be the second tone. And the other word, then, you just have to flip it around. So it's 胸毛, and 毛 just means hair. 胸 means your chest. There you go. Please pay attention to that as well. Now, the last word in this video would simply be to buy something or to sell something. To buy something, you would say 买. And to sell something, you would say that, but you're getting a bit aggressive or a bit desperate because you really want to make sure that you can sell this thing. So you've bought something, you 买 something, but now you want to, with a fourth tone, 卖 it. So that means to sell. Yes, it does. So 买, buy, 卖, to sell something. Now, even more interesting, and just to show you how Chinese is so very logical, is by just looking at the word 买 and actually putting them together. So buy, sell, where can you buy and sell? Well, in business. So the word for business, there is another one, 生意, but in this case, you could actually just say 买. It's not as common, but it definitely works. 买 would be business in Chinese. Buy, sell. Remember the two tones and make sure you don't get these two mixed up because it's definitely important if you want to buy it or if you want to sell it. There we go, and those were a few words that you definitely need to pay a bit more attention to. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you back very soon watching more videos. Bye bye for now.